Our series on the French Revolution. In this video, we will be discussing the event that leads up to the revolution, the key player and faction involved, and the lasting impact on the pivotal moment in the history. Before we dive into the revolution itself, it is important to understand the context in which it took place. The French Revolution was a period of the radical and political and societal change in the France that begins with the States General of 1789 and ends with the formation of the French ministry in November 1799. Many of its ideas are considered the fundamental principle of liberal democracy, while the phrases like liberty, equality, and fraternity reappeared in other revolts, and it inspired the campaign for the abolition of slavery and universal suffrage. The value and institution it created a dominant French politics to this day. It is cause generally agreed to be a combination of social, political, and economical factors, which the old order proved unable to manage. In May 1789, a widespread social distress led to the convocation of the States General, which was converted into National Assembly in June. Continuing the unrest culminated in the storming of Bastille on 14 July, which leads to a series of radical measures by the Assembly, including the abolition of the feudalism. The monarchy led by the King Louis XVI was heavily in debt and relied on unpopular taxes to fund its lavish lifestyle. Meanwhile, the majority of the population, especially the peasant and urban poor, lived in poverty and suffered from high food prices and unemployment. The next 3 years were dominated by the struggle for the political control, made worse by the economic depression and civil disorder. The States General and the General Assembly. In 1789, the King Louis XVI called for a meeting of the States General and a traditional assembly of representatives for the three main social classes in the France: the clergy, the nobility, and the commoner. However, the meeting quickly devolved into a showdown between the various factions, and it became clear that a resolution would not be reached. As a result, the representatives of the commoner or the third state declared themselves the National Assembly and vowed to draft a new constitution for France. The Act of Defense marked the beginning of the French Revolution. The rise of third state. The French population, of course, had changed greatly since 1641. The non-aristocratic middle-class member of third state, non-representative of 90% of the people, but would still be outvoted by the other two bodies. In the lead up to the May 5 meeting, they began to mobilize support for equal representative and abolishment of the nobles' veto. While all of the orders shared a common desire for the official and judiciary reform as well as the more representative form of government, the nobles in the particular were unwilling to give up the privilege they had long enjoyed under the traditional system and the culture. The tennis court oath and the fall of Bastille. By the time of State General Conway at Versailles, the highly public debate over its voting process had erupted into one hostile between the three orders, eclipsing and the original purpose of the meeting and the authority of the men who had conveyed it, the king himself. On the June 17, with the talk over the procedure style, the third state met alone and formally adopted the title of National Assembly. 3 days later, they met in nearly indoor tennis court and took the so-called tennis court oath, the Bastille. On June 12, as the National Assembly continued to meet at Versailles, fear and the violence consumed the capital through enthusiasm about the recent breakdown of the royal power, and Persians grew panicked as a rumor of impending military coup began to circulate. A poor insurgency culminated on July 14 when the retailers stormed the Bastille fortress in an attempt to secure the gunpowder and weapons, and this was the start of the French Revolution. The wave of revolutionary fervor and widespread the history quick swept the entire country, revolting against the year of exploitation. Prison looted and burned the home of the tax collector and the landlords. This inspired the National Constituent Assembly to abolish the feudalism on August 4, 1789. Reason of terror. After the execution of the King Louis XVI was the various European power and intense division with the National Convention brought the French Revolution to its most violent phase. In June 1793, the Jacobians grasped the control of the National Convention from the more moderate Grenadians and instituted a series of radical measures including the establishment of new calendar and the removal of Christianity. They also unleashed the bloody Reign of Terror, a 10-month period in which the suspect enemy of revolution were carried out the sentence of death by thousands of people. Many people were killed under the order of the Robespierre, who dominated the draconian Committee of Public Safety until his execution on 28 July 1794. Rise of Napoleon. One of the key figures of revolution was Napoleon Bonaparte, a military officer who rose to the power and eventually declared himself the Emperor of the French. The Napoleon rule saw the expansion of the French Empire and implementation of the many reforms, such as Napoleonic codes, which remain a significant influence on the legal system around the world. Conclusion. The French Revolution has a profound impact on the French and the world. It paved the way for the modern nation, state, and democratic governance, and inspired the other movements for independence and democracy, such as Haitian Revolution and Latin America War of Independence, which we talk on another video. It also had a lasting cultural impact, with the ideal of the liberty, equality, and fraternity becoming the central to the national identity of France. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the French Revolution. If you are new to this channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and press the bell icon to get the latest video update on our channel. If you like this kind of video, then don't forget to share it with your friends and family. In our next video, we will search deeper into the key event and personalities of this transformative period of history. So see you soon in the next one.